Mr. Estrada, you're going to be first.
Madam Clerk, are we ready to begin?
We are.
Thank you. Good morning. We're here today for the in-custody arraignment calendar. Today is November 29th. Are there any requests for continuances or special requests regarding today's proceedings before we begin?
Judge, my understanding is that the wins check has not been completed on Mr. Estrada. Can the court confirm that one way or another?
Ok, hoy día estamos entonces para la lista de causas de la instrucción de cargos, señor Agustín Estrada. El abogado dice que hoy día parece ser de que había algo que no habían confirmado.
Madam Clerk?
Correct. The jail informs me we should have it by tomorrow.
Correcto, la cárcel me informa que deberíamos tenerlo para mañana.
Defense?
I would like
Defensa.
him released, Your Honor, as this is a 48-hour bail hearing. I understand that for the safety of the community, the wins check is imperative. However, I think he should be released until that check is completed, that he should have an OR in this matter. This is not the crime of the century as it's currently charged.
And I'm so sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. I believe, does this one require an interpreter?
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Ok. Sorry. Ok, entonces lo que tenemos acá, la defensa dice que creo que deberíamos dejarlo en libertad. Son 48 horas en la cual teníamos la audiencia ya para fijar fianza. Ahora, una vez que ese cheque de Win se complete, yo creo que él debería salir en libertad bajo palabra de honor en esta causa porque este delito no es el delito del siglo.
And I know I'm getting out in front of the state right here, but we were able to speak to his wife.
Nosotros pudimos hablar con la esposa de él.
And he has a job and a place to stay.
Él tiene trabajo, tiene un lugar donde quedarse.
And if the court would put him on some kind of monitoring system just for one day, he could afford to pay about $100 towards bail.
Y si llega a ser que la jueza lo deje, que él esté en monitor por un día, entonces él podría colectar los $100 por el día.
And I think that would be the least restrictive means and an appropriate remedy here, given this bail hearing.
Yo creo que eso sería un remedio apropiado, el medio menos restringido para la causa de la audiencia de hoy.
Nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
Nada más que decir en este momento, su señoría.
Thank you. Just for the record, we're here today for a first appearance bail hearing.
Para que conste en acta, estamos acá en la audiencia de su primera comparecencia.
Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent the defendant.
Se ha encontrado motivo fundado y el abogado de oficio ha sido nombrado para representar al acusado.
As discussed, the court is not in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment as the WINS check has not been completed.
No hemos recibido entonces el puntaje de la revisión de riesgo de Nevada con ese cheque.
For the record, the defendant was arrested on November 27th.
Para que conste en acta, el imputado fue arrestado el 27 de noviembre.
This defense is requesting to proceed here today, and I'll turn it to the state.
Defensa pide entonces que él salga en libertad y ahora voy a pasar a la fiscal.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we can't properly evaluate the defendant as required by Nevada state law without a risk assessment?
Bueno, su señoría, acá nosotros no podemos evaluar por la ley estatal sin tener la evaluación de riesgo.
Part of the WINS check verifies his identity.
Parte de esa revisión es lo que es para ver su identidad.
And so without that, we simply cannot proceed.
Y por eso simplemente no podemos proceder.
And Judge, the other problem, sorry, may I?
Please proceed.
Proceda.
The other problem with this is that we can't comply with the statute NRS 178-48-49 without having this bail hearing within 2 days. And I understand the state's concern. This involves tampering with a bicycle and trying to remove the rear cassette from the bicycle. This is not a felony crime per se.
Ok, bueno, nosotros el problema acá es que no podemos completar esto, pero resulta de que eran 2 días para poder tener su audiencia de fijar fianza y lo que él había tratado era de remover el cassette del trasero de esa bicicleta.
I'll leave it at that, Your Honor.
Con eso lo dejo a su criterio.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Did you say something?
I was just making sure Mr. Blandford stopped for the interpreter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just for the record, in case I did not say, the defendant is present utilizing the services of a previously sworn and certified Spanish interpreter.
Ok, para que conste en acta, no había dicho de que el señor está siendo representada por una intérprete jurídica. And this is Jimena Fini, Certified Court Interpreter Spanish, NBF XP 610.
Good morning. Just for the record, the information that this court has is that the defendant is in custody pending charges for petty larceny as well as for transferring and injuring in vehicle.
Bueno, y para que conste también tenemos la información esta mañana de que el imputado está siendo acusado de hurto menor y por transferir.
Given it that the witness check is anticipated to be completed by tomorrow, the court does find that there is good cause to grant a continuance.
Ok, debido a esto de esa revisión que se tenía que hacer, la revisión WINS, entonces encontramos que hay buen motivo para aplazar esto para mañana.
The court is concerned as we are outside of the 48-hour time period.
Sí nos preocupa eso sí de que estamos pasado ya del periodo de 48 horas.
As indicated by statute for a Valdez-Jimenez bail hearing.
Indicado por ley de acuerdo a la ley de la audiencia de Valdez Jiménez.
However, given the facts and circumstances, I do find that there is good cause to continue this until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.
Debido a ello, las circunstancias y los hechos, yo encuentro entonces de que buen motivo para poder aplazar esto hasta mañana a las 9:30 de la mañana.
Thank you. So we'll see the parties then.
Gracias, nos vemos mañana.
And can we confirm at the Washoe County Jail, I believe that this was the only case that required an interpreter.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Interpreter, for being present here today.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You cut and paste that into tomorrow.
Thank you. Next, we have Brent Pierce, followed by Ferdinand Buchanan. Good morning. We're here today for a first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates, just for the record, that you scored as a 10 or a higher risk utilizing that tool. State, are we ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state's requesting bail in the amount of $10,000, DAS supervision, and no weapons if he's able to post. As Your Honor noted, he scores a 10 on the risk assessment. He was scored 2 points for failures to appear. He has 10 cases out of Reno Municipal Court since 2020, 5 of which had failure to appear warrants, so 50% with failure to appear warrants. 2025 already this year, he's got misdemeanor convictions for resisting and disturbing the peace, and then another misdemeanor conviction this year for disturbing the peace. 2024, he had, 3 arrests for failure to appear and a misdemeanor conviction for resisting. 2023, he's got a misdemeanor arrest for probation violation and another misdemeanor conviction for resisting. So that's 3 resisting misdemeanor convictions in the last 2 years. 2022, he had a felony arrest for assault with a deadly weapon and attempted burglary with a deadly weapon. In that case, he pled no contest to tampering with a motor vehicle and resisting. 2021, he's got a misdemeanor arrest for failure to appear. It looks like actually 2 misdemeanor arrests for failure to appear and 2 separate misdemeanor convictions for trespassing. So he is a very high risk of future non-appearance and continued criminal conduct. So the state's requesting $10,000 bail, DAS supervision if he's able to post, and no weapons.
Thank you. Defense?
Judge, we're asking for no bail on this one only because this give him an opportunity to clear those warrants that he has outstanding. As the state identified, there are 5 municipal court warrants. Any one of those is going to hold him right now. Bail in this case seems excessive and in violation of Valdez Jimenez as the least restrictive means to make sure he's going to stay here. He's got the 5 other warrants. So we're going to ask for a release on this particular case so we can start clearing up those warrants.
Just to be clear, he's not being held on any warrants.
I believe the jail does think he is being held on a warrant. I found the warrant. So if that's the case, he's not being held, then we're going to ask for something bondable to make sure he has a reason to show back up.
Thank you. Based on the facts as presented in Nevada pretrial risk assessment, as well as the factors as outlined in NRS 178.4853 and NRS 178.498, the court does find that the state has met its burden by proving by clear and convincing evidence that bail is necessary in this case in order to ensure the safety of the community as well as the appearance of the defendant based on the failure to appear, the history of violence, as well as the higher Nevada pretrial risk assessment. So based off of that information, the bail will be set in the amount of $8,000 that is bondable with no 10% cash option. If the defendant is able to post that bail amount, I will require that he be supervised by the Department of Alternative Sentencing. So, sir, you must check in with DAS within 24 hours of your release. I'm also including the condition that you cannot possess any firearms or weapons, as this is an alleged crime of violence. And Madam Clerk, when will the 72-hour hearing be?
December 5th.
Thank you. So that'll be the date at 9:30 a.m. for the 72-hour hearing. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Ferdinand Buchanan.
Take a step forward.
Good morning. We're here today for a first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as a 9 or a higher risk utilizing that tool. State, we're ready to proceed with the bail hearing.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state's requesting bail in the amount of $5,000, DAS supervision if he's able to post, and no weapons. He scores a 9 on the risk assessment. Already this year, he's got a misdemeanor conviction for resisting. He has 60 days suspended in that case. It's out of Reno Municipal Court. 2020, he's got a misdemeanor conviction for animal abuse out of Missouri, and he's got a felony conviction for unlawful use of a weapon while intoxicated, also out of Missouri. And then he has a felony arrest for non-sufficient funds back in 2011, which was dismissed out of this court. So due to his very recent history of resisting, he's got a felony conviction within the last 5 years involving a weapon. This case involves resisting with a weapon. The state is requesting the $5,000 bail, and if he's able to post, DAS supervision and no weapons.
Thank you. Defense?
Judge, he doesn't have a history of violence nor failing to appear. The PC in this case shows that he had a weapon on him and he ran from the officers, but then he took the weapon out and dropped it and the blade opened. But he wasn't threatening the officers with the blade out. He wasn't threatening anyone with the blade out. He was walking across the street. So I think $5,000 is a little bit unreasonable, but $1,000 bondable would be more appropriate as the least restrictive means to hold Mr. Buchanan.
Thank you. Based on the facts presented, the Nevada pretrial risk assessment and the factors as outlined in NRS 178.485 through and NRS 178.498, the court does find that the state has met its burden by proving by clear and convincing evidence that bail is necessary in this case in order to ensure the safety of the community as well as the appearance of the defendant. I will note the lack of ties as indicated in the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, as well as the allegations as contained in the threat of and harm to the nature of the community and the likelihood of conviction. Bail will be set in the amount of $3,000 that is bondable with a 10% cash option. And I am including the condition that the defendant will be required to be supervised by the Department of Alternative Sentencing. So, sir, you must check in with DAS within 24 hours of release. I am also imposing the condition that you cannot possess any firearms or weapons, as this is an alleged crime of violence. We will go ahead and set the 72-hour hearing. And Madam Clerk, that will be set for December 5th at 9:30 a.m., correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Next, we have Cheyenne Irene, followed by Alberto Caro. Good morning. We're here today for a first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as a 4 or a low risk utilizing that tool. State, are we ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state's not objecting to an unrecognizance release for Miss Irene with DAS supervision, no contact with the minor child whose initials are ZN, and no weapons.
We won't be objecting to any of that, Your Honor.
Thank you. The court does find that there are least restrictive means that can be imposed in order to ensure the safety of the community. So, ma'am, you will be released here today. I am requiring that I'm not requiring the Department of Alternative Services to be placed on this case. I don't find that given the facts and circumstances that is necessary or appropriate. I am requiring that the defendant is to have no contact with a minor child with initials Z period N, and is to have no weapons. I do find that is fair and appropriate given the facts and circumstances and in this case. And Madam Clerk, when will the arraignment be?
So do you want her to check in with Reno Justice Court the next business day to make sure we have contact information since there's no DAS supervision?
Let's go ahead and do that, yes. So you must check in
Okay.
with 1 business day from release. So if you're released here today, that could be Monday.
Okay,
And then her arraignment will be December 17th.
Thank you. And that's at 9 a.m.
okay, thank you.
You need to call
Thank
your
you.
mom. Your mom.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
Alberto Cara, followed by Andrew DeMars. Good morning. We're here today for a bail hearing. The Public Defender's Office has already been previously appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as an 8 or a moderate risk utilizing that tool. State, are we ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I believe we continued this from yesterday for the state to attempt to make victim contact. We've not been able to do that, but the state is ready to proceed today. I would note that it appears that the defendant called her on the 27th. He wasn't able to speak with her, but it sounds like he did leave a voicemail for her. So the state's requesting bail in the amount of $75,000, bondable only, DAS with testing for controlled substances, no contact with the victim as a condition and pursuant to statute, and no firearms or weapons. So first of all, the facts of this case are pretty egregious. He went to her home, she let him in. He was upset that she had been out with some friends. He opened up a knife, took her to the bedroom, opened up a knife, told her to start talking. They then engaged in looks like a physical altercation. He began punching her in the head and the face several times. He said to her, dogs listen when you hit them in the head, so maybe you will listen when I hit you in the head. And then he also choked her from the front for 10 to 15 seconds and did a rear naked choke for another 10 to 15 seconds. She attempted to open the front door and scream for help. He stopped her and took her back into the room and punched her several more times. So his criminal history, he's got 6 prior felony convictions. Most recently, 2021, he's got a felony conviction for eluding, a separate felony conviction in another case in 2021 for felon in possession of a firearm, gross misdemeanor conviction in 2021 for attempted battery causing substantial bodily harm. It looks like in that case, he and his brothers beat up an ex-girlfriend's current boyfriend. They broke a bunch of bones in his face. This was in front of his 3 children. He also failed to appear after release on that case. He was sentenced, all of his sentences were consecutive in 2021, 19 to 48, 19 to 60, 364 days. The Nevada Department of Corrections website showed a parole eligibility date of February of this year and an expiration date of April of this year. So it appears he was in prison at least through this year. 2015, he's got a misdemeanor conviction for domestic battery that was reduced from a domestic battery with substantial bodily harm. That was out of this court. 2014 felony conviction for unlawful use of ID of another. His probation was revoked in that case. 2013, a felony conviction for assault with a deadly weapon. 2007, a felony conviction for burglary and a separate felony conviction for assault with a deadly weapon. So he has a very violent history. It looks like he was just recently released from prison this year. This case involves a significant level of violence. So the state's requesting $75,000 bail, bondable only, DAS with testing for controlled substances, no contact with the victim as a condition and pursuant to statute, and no firearms or weapons.
Thank you, defense.
Thank you, Fred. We're asking for a $5,000 bondable amount. And we're asking that because we were able to contact a place to stay for him who could confirm that he not only had a phone, but he also had a job as a diesel technician. Because of those contacts, we're able to lower his NPRA score from an 8 to a 4, putting him closer to that low risk range. And since the NPRA is our tool to predict whether or not he'll have a problem while he's out on bail, we're asking for that smaller amount in terms of bail. $5,000 bondable, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Given the information provided, the court does find that the Nevada pretrial risk assessment would be reduced. However, given the information, it would be reduced to a 5. Based on the facts as presented, the Nevada pretrial risk assessment and the factors as outlined in NRS 178.4853 and NRS 178.498, the court does find that the state has met its burden by proving by clear and convincing evidence that bail is necessary in this case in order to ensure the safety of the named victim in this case and the safety of the community. I will note just for the record the prior history of violence, the prior history of violence involving women, the history of noncompliance, the recent release from prison, as well as the significant threat to the named victim as outlined in the probable cause declaration. With that in mind, bail will be set in the amount of $50,000 bondable with no 10% cash option. If the defendant is able to post that bail amount, sir, you will be required to be supervised by the Department of Alternative Sentencing, where you must check in with the DAS within 24 hours of release. I am imposing the condition, and that begins immediately, that you are to have no contact with the named victim in this case. State, just to confirm, the court has that it is Elizabeth Gutierrez, and that's Elizabeth, Gutierrez, Gutierrez, with the residence at 3941 Clear Acre Lane. So, sir, you are to have no contact and must stay 100 feet away from the victim and that location. Cannot contact or attempt to contact the victim in any way, including in person, phone, text, email, electronic means, or through social media, either directly or through an agent. That means someone working on your behalf. That will be pursuant to this judicial release order, as well as pursuant to NRS 178.4845 for a period of 120 days. And state, just to confirm, is that the correct information that you have for the named victim?
That is correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, if you violate this order, you could be charged with a misdemeanor found in contempt, have your release revoked and be remanded into custody, have any of these conditions modified, and or any other legal punishment. I am requiring that you cannot possess any firearms or weapons, as the court does find that that is necessary in order to ensure the safety of the community and there's a sufficient nexus. And the court will not be imposing any testing requirements at this time. The court does not have sufficient information to find that that is necessary, appropriate, and a least restrictive means. That will be the order of the court, and we will go ahead and set a 72-hour hearing, which will be set for December 5th at 9:30 a.m. Thank you.
Your Honor, he was arrested for PCS.
Thank you.
Judge, was that 5-0 for 50,000?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And Judge, the last thing I would note too is that unless I missed it, he scored an 8 on the NPRA. We did find his job. That's 1 point. The phone is 2 points. And then his residence would be 4 points. So just out of an abundance of caution, just for clarifying the record, I understand the court's order.
Thank you. So just for the record, the information that you had provided was that it was a future residence, not a current residence. That would not comply with any of the requirements as set forth in NPRA. Thank you.
Disagree with that.
Next, we have Andrew DeMars, followed by Shaylin Soto.
$50,000. No.
Sorry, yeah, leave.
Good morning. We're here today for first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as a 10 or a higher risk utilizing that tool. State, are we ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
So, Your Honor, I was hoping that we would hear back from the victim by the time the case was called, but we have not. We've tried to call her. We left a message, sent her a text. So I am requesting a 1-day continuance for victim contact.
Thank you. Defense?
I think the state has that right under Marcy's law, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just note for the record that the arrest did occur on the 27th at around the 2012 hours. Just for the record, I do find that there's sufficient good cause to grant a continuance in order to ensure that the named victim has an opportunity to be heard pursuant to Marcy's law and the constitutional right. So, sir, we will continue your bail hearing until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Thank you. Shaylin Soto, followed by Sharon Harris. Good morning. We're here today for first appearance bail hearing. Probable cause has been found and the public defender's office has been appointed to represent you. I am in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which indicates that you scored as a 2 or low risk utilizing that tool. State, are you ready to proceed with the bail hearing?
So, Your Honor, same situation with this case. We reached out to the victim by phone, also sent a text message. We're waiting to hear back, so I'd request a 1-day continuance for victim contact.
Nothing from our side, Your Honor.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can we confirm we do have someone who's present for this hearing, just to confirm that it's not the named victim?
So I haven't had a chance to confirm because they joined when we started court.
Thank you, sir. There's someone who's listed with the name of the defendant. If they could please identify themselves.
I'm Yoslin Salazar. I'm Shailene Soto's sister.
Thank you. Just with that information in mind, I do find that as the named victim is not present, and give me just one moment. I do find that there's sufficient good cause to grant a continuance, and so we will go ahead and continue this hearing until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. in order to comply with Marcy's law and the rights of the named victim in this case in order to have an opportunity to be heard. So your hearing, ma'am, will be continued until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Thank you. And thank you for being present here with the sister today. Thank you.
And Judge, as to Ms. Harris, she was really sick this morning. We're asking for a continuance.
So I wasn't going to object to an unrecognizance release for Miss Harris with DAS supervision and testing for controlled substances.
Then we won't be objecting.
Thank you. So just to confirm for the record, defense, are you able to proceed?
Yes, we can totally proceed, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and waive her appearance for today's proceeding. The court is in receipt of the Nevada pretrial risk assessment, which does indicate that she scored as a moderate risk or 7, which was overridden to a higher risk. State, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So the state's not objecting to an unrecognizance release for Miss Harris with DAS supervision and testing for controlled substances.
And the basis for the controlled substances?
So she was arrested for possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Do you have any information regarding a history of usage?
So there's nothing in her history, Your Honor. She doesn't have much history. She's got her most recent conviction is a conviction for trespassing back in 2015. Then prior to that, she's got a misdemeanor arrest for domestic battery out of Illinois, but it looks like those charges weren't pursued. So other than this case, she doesn't have history.
Thank you, defense.
We're not objecting to any of those conditions, nor the recitation of history, nor the facts as presented by the state.
Thank you. The court does find that there are least restrictive means in order to ensure the safety of the community, so the defendant will be released on her own recognizance. I will require that she be supervised by the Department of Alternative Sentencing. I am going to require that she be tested, and so she cannot use any controlled substances or alcohol, including marijuana, unless she has a valid prescription, and will be subjected to random drug and alcohol testing. I'll just note for the record that if she is not charged with these charges, that is good cause to request for a hearing in order to modify this requirements. We will go ahead and set an arraignment. And Madam Clerk, when will that arraignment date be?
December 17th.
At 9 a.m. That'll be the order of the court. And that, I believe, concludes all of the hearings from today's calendar. Just want to confirm.
It does, Judge, from my calendar.
Yep,
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers.
I'll put the JROs in your folder. So
Perfect.
for Irene, you
Yeah.
did no contact with the victims, no firearms, right?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, I will get them in your folder.
Thank you. And I did it pursuant to both statute. And do you need the spelling again, or you got it?
Oh, you did do it for statute on that one?
Yep.
Okay. Zoe Navarro. On that one.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Okay.
I don't think I did it for statute on that one.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
you did on that
Nope.
one.
Nope. I only did it for Carl.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And so just a minor child with the initials ZN.
Perfect. And then what was the address on Caro?
3941 Clear
Okay.
Acre Lane.
Okay. Perfect.
Perfect. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.